Hello.
We don't have a fireside in the background, but just imagine. Enjoy.
我会说一点普通话。That's kind of all my Chinese. I can also ask food or, invite you a drink and take you to my home. That's how far I can. Okay. So, hello, Fan.
Hello.
Welcome to Argentina, and thank you for taking such a long trip to share your experience and knowledge about the China ecosystem with us. So, welcome.
My pleasure. First, I introduce myself. Hello, Dasa. Hello, everyone. I'm Fang, come from China. Also, the COO of laBITconf and the CEO founder. Today is really great pleasure that today I could be there to share some information about the Chinese Bitcoin industry. When talking about the reason why the Bitcoin and blockchain could develop so fast, I think the rapid development of the internet laid on an important foundation for it.
Absolutely. And what do users do in China? The internet users, what they do, how do they look like?
Okay, I collected some data to introduce the Chinese internet in numbers. In the past decades, China saw her internet industry survive, and we now have more than 700 million internet users within the West measure, about 92.5% using the smartphone. It's safe to say that mobile is the king in China.
Yes, I live that in first person. That's very interesting, the penetration of mobile, no?
Yes.
And also how the blockchain is evolving. I mean, how the blockchain user and the ecosystem is growing.
Yes, because I think it's laying on the internet population. And as I know, the Chinese internet users, they always do a lot of... no.
Sorry. Yes.
They always, if you have been to China, like Shenzhen city, you can tell that you can using the WeChat, Alipay to pay anything you want. Even like the transportation and the hotel or the dining and the shopping, everywhere. So you can leave your wallet at home, I think.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience for me, and also an eye-opener, because I even bought food on the street with my WeChat account, with my cell phone. So the lady from the shop, the food shop on the street, yes, was using WeChat to pay.
Yes.
So that was an amazing experience. Yes. So tell me a little bit about the history of Bitcoin and how the startups in China.
Okay, as we know, there is very lots of startups in China, and during the past years of the internet boom in China, we have experienced that governments encourage everyone to be able to start a business on strategy of their ideas. Bitcoin startups also follow the tenders as well. Look at the chat, I draw this. You will see that Bitcoin price of this year's. Back into 2011, the first two Bitcoin companies appear in China, like the exchange BTCC and the media platform for BTC. And also the Bitcoin is very earlier.
Yes, and país 8, which is a lucky number in Chinese, no?
Yeah.
So Bitcoin is a company that has been from the early beginning of the Bitcoin industry in China, no?
Yeah. Yes. I'd like to take an opportunity to tell you a little story about our company and our founder Edward.
Yes.
Yes. In 2011, he still was a minor. He couldn't sleep very well, and at that time he writes a program about which play happy music when the price up and the sad music when the price down. And then he shared this program to the other miners. It became very popular in China. So that's why what the Bitcoin comes from.
Yes, and I can also tell Edward is a very good musician. We did some karaoke together in Shenzhen, and hopefully tonight you will experience, if you come to the karaoke tonight, you will experience some of that. And so what's the government attitude towards Bitcoin?
Oh yes,
in China?
As my opinion, the development of any new tech is closely connected to the government's attitudes. Let's look at some strategy published by the government, like the December 2013, 1 month after the Bitcoin's history high. The Chinese government issued a notice regarding the illegal of Bitcoin and nothing that Bitcoin is not a currency and cannot calculate as a currency. The notice even banned all financing institutions from conducting Bitcoin-related business. However, the government closed the door but opened the window.
Yes.
Bitcoin was defined as virtual goods and it was allowed for citizens to trade freely. And the notice led to the shutdown of a lot of Bitcoin-related payment business and instant people dump.
Yes, but at the same time, as you said, the same Bitcoin companies shut down.
Yes.
But people still use it because it was available for peer-to-peer exchange.
Yes,
so that was, as you said, opening a window.
Yes, yes.
Very interesting. So, I mean, what people think in China about blockchain?
Blockchain, as my opinion, apart from the blockchain ecosystem in China, we should mention the blockchain. The October, the Chinese government issued the blockchain white paper, and blockchain, I think the underlying technical behind the book have a lot of topic in China. How hot?
I would like to ask that. How hot is the topic?
Based my experience, there have been more than 10 conferences about blockchain this year, including a big one in Shanghai and a little small round table of the country.
So it's almost one conference every month, and also you had this white paper from the government, so it's amazing. They are highly interested in it. I know China is also very important, but everybody that is into the Bitcoin space knows that China has a big relevance within the trading.
Trading?
Yes, on the Bitcoin trading, P2P, that's how
P2P.
Bitcoin is said in Chinese, on the P2P trading space.
Yes, as we know, the exchange rate from RMB to US dollars continues going down. So more and more investors are willing to try a new way for the asset. Chinese Bitcoin exchange do not charge any fee, So their Bitcoin has become an active short-term investment. From the Huobi state, about 18% of the Bitcoin trading value in the world. However, but compared to the other investment classes in China, it's just a little in China.
So Bitcoin is being used as a reserve of value, but still in small amounts among the Chinese population. But given that there's a lot of affluence, a big affluence of money in China, that it still has a big impact on the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yes.
Interesting. So one thing that I would like to ask you also is, how are the Bitcoiners in China? I mean, I always think, I know the Bitcoiners in Latin America, but how are the Bitcoiners back there?
There is a date also about, according to the date from Huobi, and the number of the Bitcoin users in China up to 2 million. Among them, and 18% particularly for short-term. And 15 recognize the long-term value and hold their Bitcoin. I think based on the static, most of Chinese people consider Bitcoin as an investment.
Okay, so Bitcoiners in China are more interested in Bitcoin as an investment.
Yes.
And half of them see it long-term, and half of them get in and out swiftly. more or less. That's the concept. Okay. So, can you tell us a little bit about Bitcoin in the Bitcoin ecosystem?
Yes, I drew this triangle model describe the Bitcoin industry. I divide it into 4 layers. At the bottom, I think it's like the newbie people. They always need the news feeds. And like the short term we mentioned, they need the marketing and the K-line. And also the mining and the miners, they need the mining monitor. And I think the top of the industry, I think, is exchange and payments. They need the wallets, Bitcoin wallets, and the OTC exchange. So Bitcoin contains all the functions. So why we are very popular.
So you provide a very important service for the whole ecosystem, for the whole community. So also, I think one thing that is big in China is OTC.
Yes.
No? So it has been growing, I heard. No, that's basically exchanging bitcoins between parts without an exchange, without an intermediary. No.
Yes, yes.
Can you tell us more about it?
Bitcoin released their new features OTC this year, just 3 months. That's why we come here to find some traders and cooperation. We know Bitcoin has a nature activity advantage over cross-border miracle payments, exchange and value storage, but the usage of the Bitcoin is not easy to take every part in the world. Spot trading exchange are limited due to the limited recharge rate. That make lacking the ability universal precision.
It's interesting. I will tell you a little story. When I go to China, what I do is I send bitcoins to my Bitcoin wallet, and
RMB.
then I sell my bitcoins and send those bitcoins to my WeChat
It's
wallet,
very popular
so I can use it in the city when I arrive and pay the taxi driver. So basically, I do everything with digital money thanks to this bridge you created. So to wrap up our talk, I would like to know a little bit more about the Bitcoin roadmap. What are you doing in the future?
Yes.
What are your plans?
Yes. Seeing the pictures from the just in the 2012, Bitcoin just simple trading auto tools. But we launched the Android and the iOS apps later, and we become the #1 Bitcoin app in China. But in this year, we released the new features, OTC exchange, that we mentioned that, and which offer the P2P Bitcoin exchange service, like all-in-one app for all Bitcoiners. Yes, like that.
Amazing. Fang, 谢谢您. Thank you very much for being in here with us and sharing your knowledge and experience. Please, a big applause for Fang.
Thank you.